Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons. We're trying to take a darker tone with everything we do here. So if you like edgy kind of content, definitely like and subscribe. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And a big thank you to our good friends at Dice Legion. Use the promo code Sinister to get 10% off all of your purchases. The link to both of those is in the description, as well as the link to our new stream game, where we're part of a great party that is running through Icewind Dale. It's exciting. We have a lot of fun. Check us out. The link to that is in the description. Again, that is Critical Failures. Check us out Wednesdays at 9:30. With all that out of the way, we're talking about the playtest 8, the Barbarian. So it's been a long time since I've covered the Barbarian. I probably should have gone back and read through my videos, but if I go over something that they've changed already that's previous into one of the other things I've reviewed about the Barbarian, especially in the playtests, I apologize. It's very hard to keep track of something like that. So the Barbarian, from what it seems, didn't really change a huge amount right off the bat. There's a couple of things that we need to go over, and then we're going to go into detail about the subclass that they actually put in, which is the new interesting one, the World Tree, which I think every time I read it, I'm really just impressed. I'm just so surprised that it went in that kind of a direction. But with the Barbarian, let's go forward. You still have unarmored defense, which is great. Dex and con, which is awesome because your con will go through the roof. Dex, you want at least 2 most of the time. But again, it's unarmored defense, so it kind of depends on where you end up. If you're rolling for stats or if you just end up being, point buying, keeping everything as much as base as you can. Because again, you're a barbarian against smarter enemies, they're going to want to disable you, which means wisdom is kind of important. Weapon mastery, you get to know some mastery properties, which I think is impressive and important. I think that makes a big difference. You wield a weapon, you should really get some of those extra attacks from it, and it's considering all you really do is some form of attack, whether it's a grapple or it's a weapon swing. Having those weapon masteries is important. Danger sense is the same. Reckless attack is the same. Primal knowledge is still the same. You still get extra attack. You do get to increase your speed by 10 feet at level 5, which I think is good because nothing's worse than raging and kind of getting stuck behind something or not being able to actually move in and attack. Feral instincts is now at level 7. Excuse me, which gives you advantage on initiative rolls. Also at level 7, you get instinctive pounce. As part of the bonus action you take to enter your range, you can move up to half your speed. So I think this needs a little bit more of an explanation, because say you moved your full movement, I think that means you move 45 feet if you have 30 feet of movement. Again, clarify that with your DM, but I think that's kind of how it works. But I think that's more than enough to kind of get where you have to go. At level 9, Brutal Strike. This is interesting, and I want you to really understand kind of my theory here, because I'm probably going to get a lot of people mad. So if you use Reckless Attack, which gives you advantage on all your strength attack rolls until the start of your next turn, and makes everyone that attacks you have advantage. If you use Reckless Attack, you can forego advantage on the next attack roll you make on your turn with a strength-based attack. If that attack hits, the target takes an extra 1d10 damage of the same damage type dealt by your weapon or unarmed strike. You can use one Brutal Strike effect of your choice, and you have the following options. Forceful Blow, the target is pushed 15 feet straight away from you. You can then move up to half your speed straight toward the target without provoking opportunity attacks. Or Hamstring Blow, the target speed is reduced by 15 feet until the start of your next turn. So, a couple of things here. First and foremost, I don't see anything stating that you can only do this once per turn. You do have 2 attacks. If you do roll Reckless, you will have advantage on both of those attacks. Foregoing it to do the extra 1d10, I think makes sense. The reason why I'm probably going to make some people mad here is it's my connection to the Barbarian and Great Weapon Master. As a Barbarian, previous to this specific thing, not having Great Weapon Master was something you basically couldn't do if you wanted to maintain a good damage per round with a barbarian. Great Weapon Master, what it did was it gave you a -5 to attack and a +10 to damage. And you basically needed it. And I hate it when you need something to be viable, because nothing drives me more up the wall than having to take something no matter what, just to be able to play something. I often would have played a barbarian and not taken Great Weapon Master, and I can't tell you how much arguing I tend to have to do because of that. And I know a lot of the optimizers are out there going like with question marks over their head. Why on earth would you play a barbarian and not have that? Again, I hate it. I hate having to need that to be good. I hate having to need that and pull-on mastery just to be able to be a barbarian. It bothers me. I'd rather be a shield and board barbarian than have to deal with that. I don't like it because it forces me into being something, and I can't be anything else but that playing a class. Which is why I like the Beast Barbarian so much, because it kind of deviates from that. But that being said, this won't equate that damage because it's a 1d10 damage roll additional. So it can be 1 or it can be 10, where if you had Great Weapon Master, it was just a flat 10. I like this better, significantly better, so much, even though 100% of the time it is a damage per round loss. But now I don't need to be with a feat at level 4 to be a good barbarian. I don't need to be a variant human in order to be a good barbarian. I don't need to be a custom lineage to be a barbarian, because I don't need to have Great Weapon Master. This will suffice 9 times out of 10. At least just to be close within that damage range. Again, you're not losing that -5 to your attack roll, so your attacks might be a little bit more consistent with it, which I think helps to balance things towards your favor, but you'll never be able to overcompensate the damage loss. But I hate needing things to play a class. There's nothing that just aggravates me more, because if you need it, it should be part of the class. If you can't play the class without it, without fighting a mountain of enemies who are your friends, there's a serious design problem with that. But in this case, I feel like you get a tactical movement, which is worth getting a -1 or a -2 to your damage per round, or whatever it ends up being, because you can knock someone 15 feet away, you can slow someone down, you can run away, you can do a bunch of different objectively awesome things and deal additional damage without taking a penalty to your attack roll. I like it. I think it's great. It's not on a per modifier cap. It's not based on your proficiency bonus. Even reckless attack doesn't need to be enraged when you do so. It's better that way because of the negative repercussions of having advantage. But if you're fighting only 2 enemies and it's down to the wire, go for broke, go crazy. You don't need to use your rage at that point, but you need to burn them down quickly. Do it. This is a great way to do that. And I just feel like it's just a better opportunity. I feel like it's just more fun, and it gives me the availability to not have to be somebody else's barbarian, and I could really just be my own. Relentless Rage is still the same. If you are raging and your hit points drop to 0 and you're not instantly killed, you can make a saving throw, a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, your hit point instead change to a number equal to twice your barbarian level. Each time you use this feature, after the DC increases by 5. When you finish a short rest or a long rest, the DC resets to 10. So understand, because this regenerates your hit points, every time you get hit, you will have to do this save again. So at level 11, you'll get 22 hit points back. After a turn or two, that can be gone, depending on what you're getting hit with. Obviously, if it's physical attacks, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, that 22 will go a lot further. But after that 22 is gone, your now DC is 15. And it keeps adding and adding and adding. So just be mindful. Try to be a little bit more smart about it, or just be a crazy barbarian. Either way, it works really well. So you can't really go wrong, but it's a great way to sustain being alive. Previously, I want to say it used to give you a failed death save, which was horrible, because you could flat out just die mid-combat from like a rat biting you. Like, it was just tough. But it does not do that. Instead, the saving throw keeps going up, and it gives you that opportunity. Brutal Strike improvement at level 13. You now have a couple of other options. Again, Brutal Strike is that rant I just went on, but it gives you two new options. One is Staggering Blow. The target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes, and it can't make an opportunity attack until the start of your next turn, which is great if you have a lot of casters with you. This is a great thing, even if you hit this at 13. Let's say you hit it at a higher level, right? You smash somebody with it. This is what you choose to use. Again, you still get that extra damage to it if you forego, obviously, your advantage. But say you have someone who has Finger of Death or some heavy hitting saving throw. This is perfect for that. Set them up. Use this to help your party do something great. Don't think of it just as your own opportunity for yourself. You don't need to push things around or slow them down. Maybe this makes a big difference. The other option is Sundering Blow. Your blow leaves an opening in the creature's defense for an ally until the start of your next turn. The next attack roll made by another creature against the target gains bonus to that roll equal to your rage damage. Depending on your party composition, I think it will go either way. Either Staggering Blow would be great, or Sundering Blow. Sundering is better for melee combatants that might be having just a bad night with dice rolls. Your rogues, your paladins, if they can't hit, they can't smite, they can't sneak attack. Big change in what they're available to do in combat. Staggering Blow, if you have a lot of casters, this is what you use. And you should use it often, because that will make a big difference. If you're in a party with just anything, even just something that's disabling, this will make a difference. And then at level 15, you get Persistent Rage, which is basically the same as it was. When you roll initiative, you regain all expended uses of rage. After you regain uses of rage in this way, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. In addition, your rage is so fierce that it now lasts for 10 minutes without you needing to do anything to extend it from round to round. The rage ends early if you have the unconscious or incapacitated condition or don heavy armor. Previously, you needed to take damage or make an attack or get or make an attack roll, I think, which is, I thought, made sense, because you have to be fueling that rage, and anger and pain is a great way to do so. But now, once you hit 15th level, you don't need to worry about it. It's just on, and it's on for 10 minutes as opposed to, like, I believe it was a minute beforehand. Your Brutal Strike improves at level 17, so now it's 2d10. In addition, you can use 2 different Brutal Strike effects when you use your Brutal Strike feature, which is awesome. I really love that. Again, part of that is going to be dependent on your party, whether you use Staggering or Sundering, which you should use at least one of those, guaranteed, and then pick whether or not you need to slow somebody down or knock somebody away. At 18, Domino Might's the same. Primal Champion at level 20 is the same. It brings your maximum score up to 26, just like it did for the Monk. Path of the World Tree. This was introduced in the last playtest. I think it's just so off the beaten path. I got a lot of respect for it. They're really swinging for the fences for this with what you can do. I think it's cool. I have a hard time understanding what a Path of the World Tree might be like what kind of personality types are driven to that, because it's incredible, because it's the way the flavor text reads is: barbarians who follow the path of the World Tree believe that their rage links them to the cosmic ash tree Yggdrasil. The World Tree grows among the outer planes, connecting them to each other and to the many worlds of the material plane. The greatest plants on every world are said to be distant descendants of mighty Yggdrasil. These barbarians draw on their connection to the world tree as a source of vitality and a means of travel across the multiverse. As a barbarian, marrying that concept to rage and that brutality of them, it's I have such a hard time understanding what that would be like. I mean, it's like if you put Silver Surfer in Death Clock. Like, how, what kind of music would they make, or how does that work? You know, like that's kind of where I get like stumped, and that's cool. I really enjoy that like off, like completely out of the box thinking and thought process of it. So like I love that idea. So when you pick this subclass at level 3, you gain Vitality of the Tree. Your rage taps into the life force of the world tree, and you gain the following benefits. Vitality Surge. When you activate your rage, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your barbarian level, which is fantastic because that significantly bolsters your longevity because you're still receiving the effects of rage, reducing resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. When you have temporary hit points, makes those temporary hit points go further. Life-giving force. At the start of each of your turns, while your rage is active, you can choose another creature within 10 feet of yourself to gain temporary hit points. To determine the number of temporary hit points, roll a d6 equal to your rage damage bonus and add them together. If any of these temporary hit points remain when your rage ends, they vanish. This is what's so incredibly wild to me. In a good balanced party, you want to have 2 people melee holding the line, and then you want to have like 2 ranged people, or maybe 1 ranged person and 1 skirmisher, or something like that. Whoever's going to be behind you or by your side, just funneling all of this temp HP to them constantly is great. There's no action. This just happens. And for concept, your rage damage at 3 is 2, and at 20 it goes up to 4. So it's 2d6 per turn. That's a great sword attack, and it goes up from there. Eventually, at higher levels, you have 46. Doesn't sound a lot when you're hitting 20th level, but that's damage reduction, not counting whatever resistances they might have. You're pushing someone to survive significantly longer because it's a continuous bonus. You're going to endure because you're a barbarian. That's what you do. But now someone else is getting able to live longer and not suffer the effects. And because of that continuous temporary HP after combat, you're not spending as much resources to regain enough HP to be in fighting shape. And the fact that the barbarian does that, it blows my mind every time. At level 6, you get Branches of the Tree. While your rage is active, whenever a creature you can see starts its turn within 30 feet of you, you can use your reactions to summon a spectral branch of the world tree around it. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw, DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier, or be teleported to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of yourself or in the nearest unoccupied space you can see. The space the target teleports to must be on a surface or liquid that can support it, otherwise the target does not teleport. After the target teleports, you can reduce its speed to zero until the end of the current turn. Now, I can't tell you exactly if that's new or not, I'll be honest with you, but that is your reaction. You will forego opportunity strikes, but anything that's crazy enough to get next to a barbarian is probably dedicated to not leaving the barbarian. Keep in mind, if it does, weighing the weight of an extra attack to that creature as opposed to repositioning it 30 feet away from where it is the key to this. I think if you're just starting a combat and everyone's pretty healthy and an enemy's in melee range of you and decides to walk towards someone else, I'd bet on teleporting them further away over doing the opportunity attack. Yes, the opportunity attack will do damage, but if you can't kill it in one hit, it's still going to succeed its goal. So you might want to just teleport it away so it doesn't. So keep that in mind. Sometimes damage, although it's fantastic, isn't as good as preventing an attack. So really weigh that weight. I like that idea. It depends on who you are as a player. Some people just want to punch, and that's fine. And then one of the final abilities is Battering Roots at level 10. Tendrils of the World Tree extend from your melee weapons. During your turn, while you wield a melee weapon with the heavy or versatile property, your reach with that weapon increases by 10 feet. When you hit with the weapon, you can activate the push or topple property in addition to any other mastery properties you are using with that weapon. Here's where you might want to use this as opposed to branches of the World Tree. Keep in mind, branches of the World Tree you can use on your party members to get them further away or towards something. But Battering Roots is a great way to pull things toward you. If something's using an opportunity attack to run away, wait till they break your distance and pull them back towards you so they lose that additional movement speed in order to get to wherever it is they're going. Again, you can knock them prone, which is a great option as well, and then you still get the abilities of whatever mastery property you happen to be using. And finally, at level 14, travel along the tree. You can briefly travel along the World Tree when you activate your rage, and as a bonus action. While it's active, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. In addition, when you teleport using this feature, you can bring up to 6 willing creatures who are within 10 feet of yourself, and the range you can teleport increases to 500 feet. Each creature teleports to an unoccupied space of your choice within 10 feet of your destination. You can teleport other creatures with you only once per rage. So, if you're teleporting just yourself, you can use it as a bonus action while your rage is out. Now, when you're moving everyone, once. Very simple. Very rare the circumstance you have to travel 500 feet at a time, but it's very cool that you have it. A great way to infiltrate an area is to grab 10 people and just jump. 6 willing creatures and just jump 500 feet. You can do it from a mountain and invade a castle. It's super easy. But teleporting 60 feet as a barbarian, blinking all over the map, is cool. Also, keep in mind, you have 10 feet. You have 15 feet of range. Because if your melee weapon attack is 5 feet and you increase it by 10 feet, that's 15 feet, which is a huge area that you can actually attack in. That's really, really far. Albeit unique in the circumstances where you would need that and teleport, you still have the opportunity to put yourselves in very unique circumstances. If you start to think three-dimensionally, this gets even better. Say you blink on top of a pillar or something that's 10 feet tall. You can now diagonally hit something and be out of range. If you're the only one in any kind of danger, that could be totally worth it. Also, your rage just persists, so you don't need to be hit or making attacks. So, if you have your rage on, maybe you need to jump around the map for some other alternative or adventuring purposes. That's fantastic. At 14th level, being able to manipulate your movement so that way you can have 90 feet that you can travel at any given time is very big. Very big. Also, it does not say you need to be teleported onto a surface. So if there is something flying, you can teleport right on top of it. That's really where you're going to have a lot of fun, because you're going to see a lot of barbarians teleporting 60 feet in the air and coming down on a dragon with an axe, aiming for that neck. And it feels cool, and it's thematic, and it's brave, and it's heroic, and it's just plain crazy. With all that said and done, we're going to bring this video to a close. If you haven't done so yet, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. A big thank you to everyone on our Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We love you guys. What you do for us is absolutely amazing. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we are doing currently. And a big thank you to our good friends at Dice Legion. Use the promo code Sinister, get 10% off all of your purchases. And check us out Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern Time. critical failure where we're streaming a game that we're in. It's great to play with the characters. They're absolutely amazing. If you guys ever want, you can always message me about them, and I'll talk to you and tell you whatever I can about it. So feel free to do so. And thank you for giving a Spooky Kid a chance.